This is the Power Platform Daily Brief for Tuesday, April 16, 2019. What you need to know today about the Power Platform in 10 minutes or less. I'm Joel Lindstrom. And while it may seem like it's a slow news week this week because many people at Microsoft in the US are on spring break this week, there's a lot going on, a lot more than you might think. Let's start with Service Update 46 for Dynamics 365 9.1 rolling out this week. This is a minor service update, but if you're having, as I say, if you're having the issues in the minor update, it may be a major update for you. Let's look at some of the unexpected behaviors. Some text on the activity wall was translated into Finnish when the Norwegian language was used. I'm still waiting for some feedback on this issue from Marius the CRM Viking. The total amount fields did not automatically refresh when adding products. That would be a pain. Converting a lead to an opportunity resulted in the creation of an additional nameless stakeholder entity. So if you had the mystery stakeholder, that's the problem. A word in the Q grid did not translate properly when the German language was used. It's not a good week for European languages, or I guess it is, depending on you're looking at it, because these issues are being solved. When selecting an opportunity, close activity on the lost opportunity record form, the competitor's field's data did not populate. The existing legal entity field on a business process flow did not populate when displayed at 100% zoom in the Internet Explorer browser. Well, see, there's your problem. Stop using Internet Explorer. Use the new Edge. The Chromium-based Edge is fantastic. I'm going to export to Excel in an entity on web client and selecting dynamic pivot table. A dialog box opened, but there are no columns to select. I like this one. Multiple invoices were created when selecting the Create Invoice button repeatedly. So this is fixing the issue for that really impatient guy who's trying to generate the invoice and just can't stop mashing the button over and over. Just take a break, have a drink of coffee, and push the button one time. So there's a few more in there. I'll put a link to this in the show notes. Let's look at some related technology. Office plans are being renamed. So, for example, they're removing the word enterprise. Instead of Office Enterprise E3, you'll have Office 365 E3. Some follow-ups to last week's podcast that are significant. Matthew Anderson is going to love these updates. New to Outlook on the web, search filters is the new Office 365 feature. The new search filters will allow you to search with more specific terms such as folders, from, to, subject, keywords, date range, and attachment. To search filters, go to the search box and click on the filters on the right of the box. This is rolling out slowly over the next couple weeks. And if you listen to podcasts, you know we talked about how search behavior is different between the web and the desktop versions of Outlook. And so hopefully this will make them more consistent. I like this one. Teams that you haven't used for 45 days or more will automatically be moved out of the favorites area to the more area. We talked about organizing teams and team sprawl on the last episode, or one of the last episodes. This is going to help tremendously because my teams list is turning into kind of like the abandoned neighborhood where I have all these favorites, but I never go to them. Changes coming to the Dynamics 365 authentication behavior. Dynamics 365 sign-in uses a process to determine where to send a user to authenticate after they enter their username on the sign-in screen. This process will be updated with an upgraded user lookup behavior. This new behavior will make intelligent decisions by reading tenant and user level settings based on the username entered in the sign-in page. This will pave the path toward a passwordless future by enabling alternative credentials like FIDO, Fast Identity Online 2.0. So you may not notice any change at all here. This is going to be a big help for people who are using Dynamics and are members in multiple domains or multiple environments. So again, it's going to make a future where we don't have to sign in constantly. Already with Authenticator, we can already have a pretty passwordless experience, but there still are a lot of times or almost daily I'm having to sign in and check the box that says, don't prompt me again for 60 days, and then I do it again the next day. So I'm looking forward to the passwordless future. And then finally, coming up on CRM Audio, we have the XRM Toolcast. This is a really good episode this week where Daryl and Jonas interview Netraj Yagnaraman. And Netraj is the author of the fantastic Level Up tool, which I must report works fine with the Chromium-based Edge. You can actually go directly to the Google extension store and install it from there. Let's listen to a clip from the XRM Toolcast, Level Up with Netraj.
The tool that is probably the most well-known now, at least, is the one that probably scares system administrators the most when I show it to them, and that's Level Up. Why don't you go ahead and tell us what Level Up is for those that don't know, how people can get it, and some of the history behind it.
In terms of Level Up, what it is actually a Chrome extension that pretty much runs, I would say, I would use this word arbitrary JavaScript probably, but it just feels like a scary thing. Like it's arbitrary JavaScript, but it's basically like bookmarklet. So the way the idea, I got the idea pretty much after I actually was, because there is a person in New Zealand called Paul, I think his last name is like, I don't know, I probably mess it up anyway. So his Twitter handle is like Paul NZ1. So pretty much he works for Magnetism in New Zealand, and he's pretty active in kind of developing a lot of bookmarklets. So I was like, back in the days when I started, I was doing a lot of manual work in the browser. And when I discovered his blog, I was kind of like thinking like, I should just like drag and drop these bookmarklets because these seem to be a lot of product. I still have them. I still use them because I use Firefox and I just jump between Firefox and Chrome, and I still have those bunch of bookmarklets, but it was kind of getting cumbersome because every time I'll just change the machine, or if I just walk over to my colleague's machine and I just want to do something, I'm so familiar, like, click this bookmarklets, run this God mode, open this, properties, record properties, things like that. I have everything set up on my machine and I have synced it up, but not everyone has them. So I was thinking that, it's kind of getting cumbersome. I should make this a lot easier so that I can just run it from any machine. I can ask people to install an extension. Then I just started thinking, what is actually a way to do this? And Chrome is like, pretty much like Firefox is, at that time, it was not using web extensions. So the way you have to develop an extension, Firefox is a bit weird compared to Chrome. It's pretty much HTML and JavaScript. So I was thinking, okay, if I'm going to develop an extension.
That's coming up later today on the CRM Audio Network, or you can search for the XRM Toolcast in Spotify, Google Play, Google Podcasts, many other places you can get podcasts. So don't forget about Spotify. And you can subscribe directly to their feed. If you do that, you'll get the XRM Toolcast episodes a little bit earlier than we have them on the network feed. Or just subscribe to our network feed and you'll get all the goodies. That's the Power Platform Daily Brief for Tuesday, April 16th, 2019. Now you're up to date on the Power Platform.